In a highly anticipated matchup, the Indiana Fever faced a devastating 78-74 loss to the Las Vegas Aces recently. While Caitlin Clark was expected to shine as the star player for the Fever, her performance fell short, both mentally and physically throughout the whole game. As frustrations mounted for the Fever, the Aces led by Kelsey Plum capitalized on Indiana's missteps and took control. This game not only exposed Clark's struggles under pressure, but also sparked an unexpected viral moment involving Kelsey Plum, who later found herself responding to Backlash for controversial comments made during the game about Caitlin Clark and her Fever teammates. From the first quarter, it became evident that Indiana was struggling to find any offensive rhythm, scoring only 13 points. Caitlin Clark, typically the offensive engine of the Fever, was uncharacteristically scoreless in the first half. Her frustrations were visible early on, especially as she clashed with officials and received a technical foul that set the tone for what would be a long night. As her frustration grew, so did her struggles on the court. Head coach Christy Sides acknowledged the emotional breakdown that occurred early in the game, specifically addressing Clark's inability to shake off her frustrations. Christy said,
We've just got to make sure that we don't let outside things that we have no control over, affect us. Especially early in the game. I think she got fouled and missed those 2 free throws, and then, got frustrated with the officiating at times. But, that's where we've got to be better, and we've got to, handle those things. It's not going to be perfect. Those guys aren't going to be perfect. We're not perfect. But I think we lost some time with, with that frustration. So that's just something we're talking about. We're growing. And then after that, she came out in the second half and was, she let it go, and she was a different player. And that's, just can't have that first quarter.
Clark's initial meltdown became a significant factor in her scoreless first half, a surprising outcome for one of the league's most promising players. Meanwhile, the Aces' defensive pressure, led by Kelsey Plum, was relentless. Plum, who would later become the center of a controversial conversation, was already making waves contributing to the Fever's offensive struggles. The pressure mounted as Clark missed several key shots, and her frustration continued to grow. Despite Clark's struggles, the Fever made a great effort to close the gap in the second half. Kelsey Mitchell, with 20 points, led Indiana's offensive charge, but it wasn't enough to overcome the Aces. Clark, while improving her scoring, continued to make critical errors. One of the game's pivotal moments came in the third quarter when Clark, in an attempt to create space for a shot, charged into a defender, resulting in an offensive foul. This foul not only shifted the momentum in the Aces' favor, but also compounded Clark's frustration. Clark's missed free throws in the final minutes were perhaps the most glaring indicator of her struggles. Clark has been the second highest percentage free throw shooter for the season, but this game obviously made her crack under the pressure, and her missed opportunities became a defining moment in the game. Clark said this in the post-game interview.
The ball wasn't really rolling my way either to start the game, so proud of myself and proud of our team. I thought we were resilient. There was a lot of things that just didn't go our way. So, but overall, I think we kind of did it to ourselves. I'm proud, like I said, I'm proud of our defense, but there was just areas where we could have, executed a little bit better than made free throws as well.
These missed free throws not only hurt her confidence, but also proved costly for the Fever, who were within striking distance of the Aces. As the Fever continued to struggle and looked clueless due to poor coaching, Kelsey Plum's aggressive play and ability to hit clutch shots helped keep the Aces in control. But while Plum's on-court performance was making headlines, her halftime comments would soon dominate social media. During the halftime interview, Plum gave what many are saying is a blunt response when asked how the Aces had managed to hold Caitlin Clark and the Fever to just 13 points in the first quarter and 35 in the half. Kelsey said,
"All right, Kelsey, let's start with defense. You held the Fever to just 13 first quarter points. What did you like about the way your team came out on that side of the ball?" I don't know. Come back to me later.
This off-the-cuff remark quickly went viral, with some calling her response dismissive or even rude. It wasn't long before Kelsey was having to address the backlash as Caitlin Clark fans were starting to take this personal. In response to the criticism, Plum explained her reasoning by saying,
"And I mean, I thought we did a great job as a team, but Kelsey Mitchell was cooking. She had a couple on me as well, so I was like, I don't want to say anything stupid, so I just said, come back to me."
After that, Kelsey also mentioned why she isn't on social media much.
Every time. Every time.
This is why.
Hashtag Kelsey Plum.
I don't even have social media on my phone. No, what she asked was, and to be fair, she was like, wow, anytime Indiana makes a run, you guys just make your, find a way to come back. And I'm like, I mean, yeah, I mean, no offense, but like,
we have good players.
I would hope so. Not like disrespectful, but you know what I'm saying? Like, we have competitors. Like, yeah, like, pick one. That's what I meant. Like,
that was good.
She's always on me, but you know what? People these days just don't say the truth. Like, am I wrong, Katie?
Why you gotta be like
because
that?
sometimes I be feeling like I'm crazy. I'm like,
you're not crazy.
Am I crazy?
I think basketball's a game of runs, and so you would expect us to come back.
So, while some interpreted her comments as dismissive, Plum clarified that her intention was far from rude. She was simply being careful not to downplay the Fever's efforts, particularly those of Kelsey Mitchell, who had made life difficult for the Aces on both ends of the court, and later said she didn't want to say something that would get her in trouble with Caitlin Clark's fans. Caitlin Clark's night only worsened as the game went on. Following her offensive foul, she became visibly frustrated, clashing with referees and struggling to maintain her composure. After receiving another technical foul, Clark was benched for key portions of the game, leaving her teammates without their star player during crucial moments. Clark's emotional outburst and its cause for her to miss opportunities are something that have been under constant fire, which is starting to impact her overall performance. Coach Sides emphasized the need for emotional control by saying,
We've just got to make sure that we don't let outside things that we have no control over, like, affect us, especially early in the game. You know, I think she got fouled and missed those 2 free throws, and then, you know, got frustrated with the officiating at times. But, like, that's where we've got to be better, and we've got to, you know, handle those things. It's not going to be perfect. Those guys aren't going to be perfect. We're not perfect. But I think we lost some time with, you know, with that frustration. So that's just something we're talking about. We're growing. And then after that, she came out in the second half and was, you know, she let it go, and she was a different player. And that's, you know, just can't have that first quarter.
Clark's inability to manage her emotions left a significant gap in the team's morale, and Indiana faltered without her leadership on the floor. In the end, Plum finished the game with 18 points and a game-high plus 17 rating, further cementing her role as one of the Aces' key players. Her ability to balance intense competition with her unfiltered, straightforward attitude made her a standout in both performance and personality. But for Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever, this game will serve as a harsh reminder of the emotional control and composure required to succeed at the highest level. While Clark's talent is undeniable, her inability to manage her emotions costs the Fever massively. Meanwhile, Kelsey Plum's performance and ability to handle the viral backlash highlight the importance of maintaining poise both on and off the court, which Caitlin can learn from. As the Fever and Caitlin Clark reflect on this defeat, it really will test their ability to perform as a team, as there were many holes in their game plan due to poor coaching. So with playoffs around the corner, it makes us wonder if the Fever will be able to get even remotely close to being able to beat the Aces, as they are a well-oiled machine, or if they will continue to be dominated by better teams due to poor coaching.